Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Drums and Drams. My name's Cameron, and today we've got another Ohio whiskey review here on the channel. In today's video, we're gonna be straying away from Columbus-based distilleries, which is my hometown. We're actually gonna be traveling up north to the land, AKA Cleveland, to a little place called River Roots, which is where this bottle comes from. This is an 8-year, 100 proof rye whiskey. It's from Indiana, so it's MGP sourced, but get this, the price on this bottle in the gift shop at River Roots is $50. So they were looking for a kind of value option for some customers that would come in, not looking for single barrels, not looking for cask strength. They just wanted something as kind of an easy sipper, maybe a gift, maybe something even for cocktails. And they settled on this 8-year MGP rye, again at 100 proof. And I just think that price point of $50 is a crazy high value. Obviously, we have to nose it and taste it and see if it lives up to even being worth that $50, right? But the stats on paper are just killer. And I should just disclose at the beginning of this video that the reason I'm so hyped on River Roots, if you follow the channel, you probably know this, we did our very first barrel pick ever, which happened earlier this year at River Roots. The last barrel that we're gonna be dropping this year is also from River Roots. And over the course of 2024, we've now picked a total of 8 barrels of different whiskey from these guys. And so they've just been our biggest supporters, and I wanna always support them as well. So I am a little bit biased in today's review. Just wanna disclose that up front. I wasn't asked to make this review. I wasn't paid to make this review. So there you go. Let's go to the nose now on this 8-year 100 proof rye and see what we get. All right, so first impression of this whiskey is that it's a very light and sweet and approachable version of an MGP rye. There are absolutely zero dill notes or herbal notes or mint notes in here, which are things that some folks might typically associate with, let's say, an 8-year-old MGP rye. Instead of any of those notes, I think the rye in here is kind of manifesting in more of a citrus forward way, specifically a very sweet citrus. Let me just rattle off a few notes now. I think the primary note I get here is actually honey. There's a great honey sweetness on the front end. And then just below that, I get this kind of like lemon meringue, sweet lemon, maybe even a lemon lime soda kind of note. I also get a lot of like fruit forward things as well, green apple, kind of like an Asian pear thing. And then at the very base of this whiskey, I pick up just a hint of a cocoa powder note. And I know that sounds kind of out of place with everything else I've said, but there is this one dark component, and it reminds me a little bit of like a Swiss Miss hot chocolate powder. So I think, again, mostly honey and mostly sweet citrus and light fruit forward with just a little bit of this chocolate backbone in there. Some white pepper also hanging out, kind of showing you that it is a rye whiskey. But by and large on the nose, this feels actually under 100 proof. Feels a little bit flat in some ways, like maybe too approachable for the enthusiast, but probably just right for the kind of consumer that this is geared towards. So let's go to the palate now, cheers. Wow, so I just got done saying on the nose how relaxed and easygoing and kind of underproof that this feels, but on the palate, this is a completely different story. So while the nose does feel relaxed, the palate carries with it quite a punch, like great spice. And it doesn't have any of the dill, herbal, or mint on the palate either. But I think what it has is just an extra oomph from the white pepper notes as well as from those citrus notes. I think those are the things on the front of the palate that drive the whiskey forward into the development. And then you're met with all of those honey sweet notes in the mid palate. And as you get into the finish, I think the finish is where all of the fruits kind of come alive. Very summer fruit feeling on the palate. Look, I mean, the nose is approachable for maybe your consumer that's not accustomed to being a straight whiskey drinker, neat whiskey drinker, whatever. But then when it comes to cocktails, if you throw this in a cocktail, clearly on the palate, this stands up to the proof point, maybe even a little over 100 proof on the palate. And so I think it's gonna operate very well in cocktails and maybe even on the rocks, if someone's looking for that. But I can't say enough about River Roots, of course, but this bottle specifically, keeping the price at $50, actually just under $50 in the gift shop as an everyday option for a different kind of consumer. I think that this is a perfect move for them. And I think the people that pick this whiskey up are not only getting an outstanding value, but they're really getting a great whiskey specifically on the palate and specifically on the finish. And for me, as a sucker who loves a great nose on a whiskey, this thing does suffer a little bit, but I think that's okay in the grand scheme of things. So if you guys are ever in the Cleveland area, check out River Roots, check out this bottle specifically if you're looking for something, kind of like what I described, for those purposes, let's say. Otherwise, check out some of their single barrel offerings. But that's gonna do it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, cheers, and I'll see you soon here on Drums and Drams.